In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a banner like the one featured here. Now, I'm going to go over to our home page and we're going to go to Components, and I'm going to pick a container, drop that in the site. And the first thing we want to do is set the height on this, as I know I want a specific height. So let's go to Sizing, and the height is currently set to Auto, and I want to switch that to Theme. Now, I can pick a theme size that is set up in the Theme Studio, but these are too small, so I'm going to override this and click the little mask icon there, and this allows us to put in any custom CSS values. I'm going to pick 550 px. That's a good size. Now I have this set up, we need to add a background image, so I'm going to go to background in my container, and we can press none, static, or get it to change on hover. I just want a static image in here. So rather than a color, I'm going to go to the image option. Now there's a slight error there as this is a beta, but that will be fixed in your build. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take an image from my resources and I'm going to drop it in the resources drop well there. So now we can see that has updated the background and that's looking really good. We need some text in here, so I'm going to go back to components and I'm going to drop in my text item, and it pre-fills it with some text, but it's a bit hard to read because it's small and in black over our image. So I'm going to change it to white, and you can obviously pick any color in here. And let's go back to general on our text and increase the size of this. So I've also set up some different styles here, and we're going to pick outdoors. This is just setting the font, and again you can do that in the Theme Studio. And let's increase the size to 7XL. That is very large, and let's give this a proper title. So we'll change this to camping, and now we want to center align this, and we also want to increase the weight a little bit, and that's looking good. And I'm going to duplicate this so we can have a subtitle. And now let's give this some different text. There we go. This original text, we can set the case to uppercase. That's pretty good. And we could do the same here as well. And let's make this a little bit smaller. I want a lighter weight of font there, and we want it smaller. Let's get something that's looking pretty good. These two items, we can also set the spacing in here as well. Let's just drag in another item. So I've got a button there, and if we go over to our node browser, we can see how these are stacked up. We've got our container, and inside it we've got our two text blocks and our button. Now we can change the spacing on these quite easily by going to the content layout, and this allows us to set how the content of the container is laid out. At the moment the alignment is in the middle of the container, but we can set it to the top and the bottom. We can also set the gap on the on each item. So let's reset that to the middle, and if I just go and pick a high value here, you can see it's spacing them out. But let's go close together, and these text blocks have some spacing inside of them that I don't really want, and that is due to the line height because it's accounting for that. So let's get rid of the line height, and it's brought all these items closer together. So now I can go back to my container and have a bit more control over how far apart I want those spaced. So that's looking pretty good. Also want to show you a bit about padding. So let's align this to the bottom, and while I like this layout because I like the space up the top, this is butted up against the bottom of my container, which I don't really want. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my spacing, and on the padding I'm going to put some padding on the bottom edge here. So if I select 10, it's just going to push that up a little bit, and I can obviously choose the value I want. There we are, let's set it to 10. So this is really handy for having a bit more control over your layout. So if I go to the content layout and, for example, I aligned that to the top, we could go back to spacing and I could do the same thing but on the top edge. So now let's move that to 10, and boom, it just knocks it down a little bit. Set that back to 0, and the content layout will center that. So that's looking great. So that is how simple it is to set up a graphical banner in RapidWeaver Elements. For more information on this, please visit the manual or ask questions on our forum. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.